Hello and welcome to Scrolling with Ceazor. Today is April 15th, 2026. As always, this is not financial advice, just my own biased opinions based on some of the tweets I see. But first, let's take a look at the charts. So ETH is up about 0.5%, so it's looking okay. It might be a good time to consider adding some to your CDPs, so borrowing some more stablecoins. Maybe, I don't know. It's still kind of pushing off this resistance line here, and as you can see, it goes way back over here to these times. So I don't know, we got to see a breakthrough perhaps and then consider adding some more, borrowing some more stables versus this. So BTC is also up about, oh no, it's down. So it's looking very similar, bouncing off this same resistance. We've got Hype. Hype is up 2%. It has gone through the top of that local resistance, but you know, it's still bouncing around in a general area here. Sonic is up 2% today, but as you can see, the chart looks pretty scary. And gold itself is, where's gold? Gold is still kind of chilling around. It's yeah, it's upward trend, but it's not gonna, it doesn't look like it's gonna blow through the top of this anytime soon. Okay, and there's not a lot of people talking on Twitter about gold, or especially tokenized gold, but I'm okay with having a little bit of gold in my portfolio, especially these tokenized gold where I can, you know, I can put it inside liquidity pools and get some APR on it. Okay, let's move on to the news. So first of all, we have Gino here. Gino's kind of gloating that he told you so. I'm so smart. Back in those years, I told you Trump was a bad person. I told you the YLFI was a scam and blah, 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 blah. And I agree with him for the most part. I'm not a big fan of I told you so type things, but you know, he's laying down basically the scam of what YLFI has done with Dolomite and their weird pyramid and weird looping and stuff like that. He kind of lays it down as he understands it. But he does say one thing inside there. He says Trump is a cancer, and he said that he was a cancer and that he was a bad actor and so forth. And I kind of think of it, I try to think of it as a neutral person, like completely unbiased about what he currently has, and try to look at the entire time since Trump has taken office. I don't think Trump is a pure cancer. Obviously, YLFI, Molina, and Trump coin were grifts and scams. So that's what I say, you know, like people need to be able to spot a grift. They shouldn't be buying tokens just because Trump says to buy them. They need to assess what that thing is. But the alternative, I say, is like, what if Kamala had won? Would we be in a better crypto situation than we are right now? Likely not. There probably would be no Clarity Act. There probably would be no like talking with Congress. Things would probably be even more illegal than when Gary Gensler was in office. So I think it's a net positive for the most part, but you know, I do get what he's saying. Like, Trump has done some pretty shady stuff in crypto. Okay, now it might not be him, his family, his sons, but whatever, right? Okay, so let's move on. So here we have a video from Rob Montgomery. He's talking about Infinify and their system to try to bring real-world assets on chain, and he's talking about using AI to liquidate them, and using his Infinify stablecoin to be a clearinghouse, or to help him to purchase and liquidate these real-world assets. I think it's a pretty cool endeavor. You can watch and listen to it. I'll, of course, do some more digging into it. I'm not a huge fan of bringing real-world assets into the blockchain, even if they figure out how to liquidate them easily, because I think it's kind of like you're kind of pandering to an old system. You know, you're kind of, you know, I get the point. The motivation is there's a lot of capital there, and if we can get that capital to at least use the blockchain, then it'll grow adoption, so to speak. But I'm a big fan of the other way, which is to encourage new companies who want to do raises to tokenize completely, instead of, you know, going down the stock route. Instead of bringing stocks on chain, like the current stocks on chain, and you know, custody still inside a brokerage, I prefer, companies now start looking at tokenization as their route to raise funds, and maybe we can, there are compliant systems for tokenization as well. So I think there's two different routes, right? I think the future is more important than the past in this sense, but of course there's a lot of capital there. So I commend him for building what he's trying to build and trying to bring those people onto the blockchain. Okay, so moving on. So Nikita has a tweet here, and they're talking about X is launch this new thing. So it says, today we're launching the new cash tags feature in the US and Canada on iPhone, bringing real-time financial data to X. Here's how it works. When you search for or post a cash tag or a contract address, X will automatically suggest matching stocks or crypto tokens so that you can select the exact asset you had in mind. So so whenever you start posting and you're like, oh, hashtag, BTC, then it's going to give you a selection so you can choose which BTC. And anyone that taps the cash tag will see the posts mentioning it along with its price chart without leaving X. So now you're going to be able to get some price charts for assets. Now I'm not sure how much of these assets, if you're going to be able to get some meme coins and shit coins and all kinds of stuff like that, you might still have to go to Dex Screener and CoinGecko and stuff like that to see a lot. But I do think this is pretty interesting, and it is a step in the right direction. I don't use iPhone, and I also removed X from my cell phone so that I wouldn't doom scroll as much. So this is definitely not for me, but I do think it's news and worth sharing. Moving on. So here we have ETH Strategy. It says, ETH Strategy wonders who's next. So Cardano's dead, Polkadot's dead, and will Solana be dead or not? Okay. And this guy says, punch up, not down. Okay. And I do want to share what this person has to say, because it made me think of these two ideas are connected. So Solana's revenue collapsed from 120 million to 2 million. That's 98% drop. The narrative dead. The narrative is dead. Hype built it, hype killed it. So remember, 4 months ago, there was all this talk about revenues. Most important, what's the revenue generation of ETH? ETH is dead. Solana is the future. Look at the revenue comparison. Now look at the revenue comparison. Solana, ETH just keeps building and creating the rails for people to do business. Whereas, this was I've said it so many times. It was a shark pit. You go in there, you get extracted, you get attacked, you get chewed up, and be careful. Anyhow, moving on. So here we have Surgeons Labs. This is a podcast between two guys. So we've got the Surgeon Labs guy here and Jacob Studwin and DeFi Daddy. I like this post. I think it's pretty, if you go and you listen into it, DeFi Daddy is representing This Is Pandora, which is a permissionless prediction market. And there's some really cool points he makes. Is first of all, on Pandora, market liquidity is sourced from the community, and that becomes very hard because nobody has tons of money. Whereas on Polymarket, you've got market makers who are deciding the questions, providing the liquidity, and then because the liquidity is huge, people can bet more money on that. So it's a problem with Pandora, but it's not a terrible problem because anyone can create any question on Pandora, and I love that. I love that aspect of this thing. Okay, he talks about they created MCPs so that AI agents can plug in very easily. They've created this thing called Parlay where you can easily use AI to compare different prediction markets and then arbitrage them, right? And then they're also created right now. They're about to launch, or today they're launching. Very soon they're launching this AI agent launchpad, because there's a lot of people who want to create AI agents but don't know how to do it, right? Or they don't want to build it at home. So I'm assuming I got to do more research on this, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be a cloud-based thing that you need to pay for your AI agent, maybe with Anon tokens, right? So anyhow, you can check it out, do some research, find out what it is about, and so forth. Moving on. Here we have Liquidity, Bold, one of my absolute favorite stablecoin. So Liquidity Bold is now, you can use collateral. So the Yearn staked Bold, which is, taking Bold, putting it in Yearn. Yearn puts it into the different stability pools, farms the APY for you and auto compounds it. Now you can take that Yearn deposit and use it as collateral on Frankencoin to mint a Swiss franc stablecoin, and then you can use that Swiss franc stablecoin on chain at Curve Finance and stuff like this. I like this. This is decentralized finance, actually legalizing. It's like, it makes me feel like DeFi summer, in the sense that, like, we're building Legos on Legos again, and I'm happy with this. Okay, so I thought I'd share it. Moving on, I did a tweet yesterday about Frax Finance. I keep saying on this podcast, Frax Finance is a fantastic product. It has a huge footprint, and here I went into a lot of depth of it. Now, I'm not going to read through everything here, but the main idea of this is I hope that more and more teams will look at FRX USD as a alternative token for their liquidity instead of USDC or USDT, but definitely USDC is the one that most people think, oh, I have a liquidity pool, I have to use USDC as my other token, otherwise nobody will provide liquidity. But I think FRX USD is a better choice for all of these reasons. You can read through all the reasons and you see my tweet and so forth, and that's that. Moving on, here we have Crypto Mondays meetup. So this guy here, Econ Degen, I did a talk with him a little while ago, and I plan to do a talk again with him. And he's like a big brain options trader at ETH Strategy, and they built this product where it's convertible debt. You can get some bonds, and you can trade the bonds and trade how to gamma swap these bonds and stuff like that. It's really hard for me to understand because I don't do this kind of stuff, and I talked to him once and then I kind of forget most of what he said because I don't do it. It's like, you learn something once and then you don't practice it, you're going to forget it, right? So that's kind of my situation with him. So I got to get on a call with him again, but here he is going to do a call with Luma, and you can go to this website. So just click on this and then you can register here to kind of join this talk with him, and he's gonna talk about options in DeFi, and it can be a pretty cool conversation. So I've not registered yet, and I'm not sure if I'm going to register because I'm an options idiot, but I think this might be a pretty interesting thing to experience, or at least to consume as a viewer. Okay, moving on. Okay, I talked about that. This is very important. CowSwap has had an issue with their .fi. So cow.fi domain, they've had to lock it up because another DNS attack or DNS takeover. I don't even know how to say it anymore. It's just basically the website has been hijacked. So they told everybody, revoke all permissions. This happened after my podcast yesterday, so I went out and checked all my approvals. So what I want to say about this is CowSwap's one of the bad ones where when you go to swap, it actually tells you its default set to maximum approval. So one of the things I'm going to suggest to anyone who's listening to this is anytime you go to do anything in DeFi, check your approval amount and make sure it's only the amount that you are wanting to use right now. It might cost you a little bit more gas in the long run, but it's better than having to go and revoke like billions of dollars of approvals across many protocols. So just take that one little extra check. Every time you go to send a transaction, you first approve, and then it's like, how much do you want to approve? And you double check that it's exactly how much you want. So it's pretty easy in the wallet and Rabby. It's very clear. You can maybe do the balance, or you can do what you're planning on using at that time, and don't mass approve everything. Another way to avoid these approval kind of hacks is to not hold spot tokens. So if you hold USDC in your wallet and you've approved it to many places, there's a good chance that it could get taken out from approval hacks, right? However, if you just put all of your USDC into places, then you probably haven't approved that USDC, that token, that yield, for example, like say put it in Yearn, you haven't probably approved the Yearn token to be swapped. So they would have to withdraw and then swap your USDC. But that there's still going to be a day where you approve, like where you withdraw, it lands in your wallet, and then your approval gets siphoned out. So be careful. Revoke. Don't approve more than you want to use, and don't hold spot as much as you can. Okay, moving on. So the World Liberty Financial has come out and talked about their proposal. They have this governance proposal right now. And you can read through all of the things, but basically it's talking about like the system of linear, like of unlocking with a 2-year cliff and a 3-year linear vest for people. You can read through all of this. I'm not going to read through all of it because I do not have any of these tokens. This does not affect me at all and so forth. But it's good to see that they put this out. But, the interpretation of it is pretty sad. So I've got Peter here. Again, you can read through his sarcasm. It's good fun. But one of the things that I'm just going to read what he says right here. So the team that locked your tokens is asking you to vote on whether the team gets to unlock their tokens. So I don't know how accurate that is. I haven't fact checked it, but he's usually pretty good at being sarcastic but using facts to be sarcastic at the same time. So take that into account. Think about it. But that's it for today. I hope this is interesting and useful. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.